He was hardly wet behind the ears when Detroit got him for a go at the Stanley Cup. Coming over from Calgary, Mike Vernon looked great in his new jersey. He just didn't look as good against them. In '95, the man known for his stand-up style and stand-up comedy made a showbiz boo-boo when he let us see him sweat. The following year was downright uncivilized. One of the winningest goalies of all time, he was left pining for another shot. But then, after yet another season of despair in Detroit, this pair vowed this year would be different. Mike's got one more turn, and now starring opposite the greatest playoff goalie ever, he's one ahead. It's a long haul. When you stand up this well and retain a width that's as quick as your glove hand, it's hard not to sometimes catch yourself smiling. Tonight from Detroit Rock City, Joe Louis Arena, on the north side of the Detroit River, across from Windsor, Ontario, Colorado Avalanche, Detroit Red Wings set to collide in the game that may well determine the series. Wings up 2-1. Good evening. Welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada, the Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC. Kiss booming through the speakers here. I agree with Terry Wickham right here. He's the man. Where'd he go? He's sitting down there. He's the guy that said Detroit's got to win tonight to have a chance to take out the Stanley Cup champions. We know how good Mike Vernon's been in this series, a 1.77 goals against average in the playoffs. Mike hasn't had to do a lot of talking. His counterpart, greatest playoff goalie of all time, wasn't in a talking mood after the game, but sure was yesterday.
I see a difference from this year and last year, for sure. And my answer will be, we don't care what happened so far. It's what's going to happen from now and in the end of the series what matter. And it's time for us to play. Let's play. Welcome.
Adam Deadmarsh and Claude Lemieux had little choice but to leave the press conference. Patrick Roy saying it's time to put it all together. There's the big octopus here at Joe Louis Arena. One more item before we bring in Donald S. Cherry. That is, we want to address two stories. Mark Crawford said his biggest concern is, what about this guy, Vladimir Konstantinov? He said he's all over my best players. He said he's holding sticks. Here's a good example of a very legal check on Peter Forsberg. He was really a big part of the Detroit defense that has shone through 3 games of the series. Mark said the other factor concerning him is the lack of finish. Here was a good opportunity set up for Eric Lacroix. He missed the net, and Mike Vernon, you can't say enough about Vernon, 28 shots he faced the other night, but the 2 best opportunities were squandered. There was the other, Adam Deadmarsh. Here's a look at the lack of firepower for the Avs. Forsberg, Kamensky, and Deadmarsh, 3 of their brightest lights, yet to provide a goal so far in the series. There's Don, what you got there?
We got an octopus right here. We have Kevin down here too, I'll tell you. You remember who we had here last year at this time? Jake Shannon. Sure. Anyhow, there's Kevin.
Kevin's a great young fan from Berkeley, Michigan. What you got there? Let's have a look at your sign. Can't beat Graves. Now, Don, this is goes without saying, a huge test for Mark Crawford's team. We'll see what Colorado's made of tonight.
Well, yeah, we'll see what Detroit's made of tonight. I don't understand Colorado. They haven't played a good game yet. They have no jump. They are lucky to be up 2-1 right now, or around anyhow. But I'm telling you right now, Detroit better get them while they're asleep, because if they wake up, they go back, tied 2-2 in Colorado. Colorado's going to win the series. This should be the one tonight. I was not impressed at all with either team the last game. Both teams should have lost.
Getting set for Game 4 here at Joe Louis Arena. Let's go to the men in the broadcast booth now for a scene set. Here's Chris Cuthbert and John Garrett.
Well, Ron, after game number 3, Mark Crawford said our team's playing at about 75%, and as Ron mentioned, they need Peter Forsberg going at 100% to get the split they want here.
Well, Peter Forsberg is feeling 100%, but he's not playing at 100%. After the concussion in the Edmonton series, he seems to be trying to play the physical role, and that's all he's doing. He's not carrying the puck. He's not using his speed. He's being hit, sure, but he's concentrating on hitting back instead of carrying the puck, making plays, They don't need Peter Forsberg to be the enforcer. They need Peter Forsberg to be the goal scorer.
One of the problems may be that Forsberg and Joe Sakic are playing too much. That will change tonight. Stefan Yell is back in the lineup. A great penalty killer. Maybe not the biggest name, but John, at this time of the year, it's the unsung heroes. And on the other side for Detroit, they're getting some great work from an unsung guy who's turned Russian, at least for this series.
Well, he really hasn't in the dressing room. They're calling him Brownov because he's playing with Fedorov, Kozlov, Konstantinov, Fetisov, and he is fit right in. And it takes a guy like Doug Brown, who is a very intelligent hockey player, to adapt so quickly to a very mishmash style. And Brown has been able to do that.
All right, let's go down to Ron.
Thanks, Chris. Detroit has the crowd. Colorado now has the yell. Coming up, it's Game 4 of the Western Conference Final, live from Detroit, Michigan. The Red Wings lead the series 2-1. We'll come back and drop the puck next on Hockey Night in Canada.
Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Brought to you by Molson Canadian. By Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. And by 7-Up. Get clear.
Detroit's first year in the NHL, they played in Windsor at Border Cities Arena, but now you know the home is Joe Louis Arena on the opposite side of the Detroit River. Tonight, Adam Deadmarsh tries to figure out why his team isn't scoring more.
Well, it's been kind of frustrating to try and get points on the board against Detroit. They play so defensive that it is tough to score goals. But you know, we've talked about it, and we think the best thing to do is just get as many shots on net as possible. See, we're frustrated that that we're not playing to what we feel we can play as a team, and I think obviously that angers a lot of us, and hopefully we can turn that around tonight.
Well, the championship medal of the Avalanche will be put to the test in Game 4 of the Western Conference Championship Series tonight. There's Patrick Roy, angry after Monday's loss, defiant in the build-up to Game 4, all but guaranteeing a win tonight, while Mike Vernon at the other end says he's having fun in this series. And he's never been better than his 27-save performance in Game 3. Paul Dvorsky's in charge tonight. Gord Brosiker, Brian Murphy are on the lines. The Colorado Avalanche have not lost 3 consecutive games in their last 167. They're trying to snap a 2-game losing streak tonight.
Paul Dvorsky, the referee in the second game of the Philly Rangers series, was criticized by the Philly management after that game for letting the players play too much. And that's his reputation. Both coaches know that, and I'm sure they've told their players that.
And yes, Dvorsky was in charge on March the 26th when the rivalry boiled over. There's a pass up for Clemmy, deflects it down into the Detroit zone. And Mike Vernon will hang on with Mike Ricci hanging around the goal mouth.
Mark Crawford, a few options with Stefan Yell back. Yves Saroux is out. But the big thing for Mark Crawford and having Stefan Yell is he can get less ice time for Peter Forsberg and Joe Sakic. He'll spell them off, get them back down into that 24-minute range instead of the 30-minute range. Defense stays the same. Eric Messier has played very well, but didn't play as much in the third period of Game 3. And a look at Stefan Yell. Surgery on May 10th, but it was a very minor tear of the cartilage, and that's why he's back so quickly.
Injured the same night as Peter Forsberg, Game 3 of the Edmonton series. And Yell, who will play most of the time at center, sets up with Ricci and Mike Keane on a checking line against Fedorov, Kozlov, and Brown, the best line for Detroit in the third game. And of course, Kozlov with the 2 goals for the Red Wings. Fedorov hands it off to Brown, driving for the net. And Patrick Roy makes the first stop on the short side. And a penalty coming up right off the bat. And it's going against Colorado.
Sylvain Lefebvre going off for tackling Doug Brown after the good save by Patrick Roy, and Lefebvre carried the check too far. Paul Dvorsky wasn't going to make the call until Lefebvre face-washed Brown in the corner. Brown charges around Lefebvre. Roy makes the save. Now Sylvain Lefebvre carried Brown in past the play. Here's the face wash, and That's why Paul Dvorsky had the arm up in the air. It wasn't the check in behind the net.
In game 3, Detroit scored a minute 12 in. Here, 69 seconds into the game, they go on the power play that was only impressive in game 2 and has really struggled at home. Here's Fedorov with a pass, stopped by Waugh, and the Avalanche get it out to center.
Well, there to be successful, you have to get some rebounds on Patrick Waugh. That was a good opportunity. He couldn't handle the rebound, but his defense there to clear the puck, clear the zone.
Larionov, Kozlov, Lapointe up front. Fedorov and Lidstrom are the point men as Kozlov sends it in. Lapointe gives chase against Adam Foote. Around on the far side, Keane blocked the Lidstrom pass, and now Lapointe will set it up. He hands it to Kozlov, the leading goal scorer for Detroit in these playoffs. Larionov scores!
Igor Larionov throws it out front, and that goes off Alexei Guzarov's stick. And Larionov's power play goal in game 2, almost a mirror image of this play. Guzarov's trying to pick off the pass. Lapointe goes to the front of the net, and it hits Guzarov's stick and goes by Patrick Waugh. And Igor Larionov now has 7 of his 9 points on the power play. He's one of the keys. Gets that puck in the corner, and it's tough to react. He made such good passes.
Must have been a pretty good pool player. Off foot in Colorado this time. It goes off Gusarov, and the Red Wings strike quickly again. 1:52 the time of the goal, and a power play marker for Detroit.
Well, Larionov's trying to hit Martin Lapointe. Lapointe's in front. Gusarov's trying to pick off the pass, but instead of picking off the pass, he banks it right in behind Patrick Waugh. No chance for Waugh. You can see from the angle of Gusarov's stick, he was trying to get it to go up. He wasn't trying to bank it back towards the corner. He was trying just to deflect it up in the air. Instead, he put it right in the net.
Forsberg, Kamensky, and Lemieux come on for Colorado. There's Konstantinov, up ahead to Yzerman, with Sandstrom, McCarty cruising on the right side. Ozelin stepped into him as it's in front. Off one, cleared to the side, and the Avalanche get it down the ice. Race for it, Kamensky and Konstantinov, who gets there first for the icing call.
The Detroit Red Wings score in the power play, and one of the reasons they've played so well is the play of Martin Lapointe. They're on the power play. Colorado worried about him in front of the net. Larionov tried to hit him. Lapointe so big and strong, and the puck is deflected in behind Patrick Waugh. The defense that has played very, very well stays the same. Rouse and Ward not used as much by Scotty Bowman as the other 4, but when they have been used, they've played very well. Ward has a mouse under his one eye, an injury received yesterday, but he's all right.
John, the official on the goal, Larionov from Kozlov and Lapointe at 1:52. Now the puck cleared ahead, and here's Fedorov handing it to Deadmarsh at center. He couldn't get loose, and Brown feeds Fedorov. Looking for Kozlov, that's off the stick of Lacroix into the Avalanche zone, and Gusarov. Up to Fruitvale, BC's Adam Deadmarsh. Can't get loose at center. Lidstrom broke it up and puts it back into the Avalanche zone. One of the topics of conversation in between games was Colorado felt they were starting to figure out the defensive play of the Red Wings and maybe could expose them with their speed. Larionov takes a chopping shot, looks for the rebound. Patrick Waugh covers, and a penalty to Gusarov coming up. So Igor Larionov has a goal, draws a penalty, and the Red Wings go back to the power play.
Gusarov goes off for hooking Igor Larionov. Larionov going for a rebound, and Gusarov just stops skating. Larionov takes the shot. Gusarov turns around. Now his legs don't move at all. He's gliding. He hooks Larionov and takes the hooking penalty.
Red Wings with a power play goal, a minute 52. And now they go back to work with the man advantage. Yell on the draw against Yzerman. Here's Thomas Sandstrom centering it. Shanahan pounded it wide. Yell up with it. Can't get it by Lidstrom. Now it's back to Lidstrom at the point. He's bothered by Yell. And Yell comes up with it. Shovels it over to Keane with foot. Onside, Keane shot blocked. And the Avs may be caught here. Back comes Yzerman over the line with Fedorov, shooting it right on. Yell up with a rebound. Now Messier can't get it by Fedorov. Yzerman behind the net. Sandstrom parks at the goal mouth. Shanahan back to Fedorov and Lidstrom. Now Fedorov blasting it in, and Patrick Roy does not give up a rebound.
Patrick Roy with the good save. Detroit's power play has looked good. They're 1-for-1. Brendan Shanahan had a great chance. It just went wide. Here's Detroit on the rush after the good chance by Mike Keane. Steve Yzerman gains the blue line, backs everybody in. See who's back? Stefan Yell. When Adam Foote got trapped, Stefan Yell was the first guy back. And here's another shot on the power play, handled on the tip-in try by Yzerman, and that was a better save than I thought. Yzerman tipped it up above, and Roy reacted with the glove.
From the draw, it comes back to Konstantinov and Murphy. High blast off the glass. Kozlov's after it along the boards. And now it comes out. And it's center ice. Kozlov will dance back in with Martin Lapointe. They'll play it over to Konstantinov. That shot deflects over the net. Aaron Miller plays it around, and Sakic will chop it down the ice. 45 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gusarov. The shot 7-0 in favor of the Red Wings. It was 8.5 minutes before the Avalanche had a shot on goal in Game 3. Now Kozlov. Larionov in the corner. Back out to Konstantinov. Martin Lapointe parked in front, jostling with Aaron Miller. Here's a centering pass, and it went by Larionov and down the ice. As we've hit the 5-minute mark of the opening period, 15 seconds to go in this second power play for Detroit.
Detroit would much rather have Larionov in the corner making those passes instead of accepting those passes. That time Larionov couldn't just make contact in front.
Now Gusarov back on the ice. Messier tied up. Here's Joe Kocur moving in for Detroit. One hand on the stick, couldn't get it to Draper. Maltby now takes over for the Red Wings. The grind line out for Detroit. That's Messier taking Maltby to the corner. Draper in to help out. Adam Foote there for the Avalanche. And Foote comes up with it. Up the boards, and Lemieux ahead. Gusarov to Forsberg, knocked down by Draper. Kamensky to Lemieux, broken up by Lidstrom. And Lidstrom sends the Avalanche back.
There again, Detroit standing up outside their own blue line, not letting the Avalanche make any plays.
Konstantinov batted it down at the line and forces Lemieux off the puck. As it's flipped down the ice, McCarty giving chase. And Waugh comes out of the net to play it ahead.
Patrick Waugh took a little swing at McCarty. That's what the fans are reacting to. Waugh out handling the puck again.
And an icing call against Colorado. 1-0. Detroit leading. And the Avalanche out of the gate slowly in Game 4.
Grapes talked about it in the opening. Not many dump-ins from the Avalanche, and it's been Detroit. There's Patrick Roy with the little shot on McCarty, and that's what the fans were reacting to. I think Patrick thought McCarty was going to continue on, but Detroit's been very disciplined that way. They haven't been running at Patrick Roy. Colorado's going to have to shoot it in and chase and get a forecheck going. They're all trying to carry it in, and Detroit's doing a great job standing up, standing at the blue line, and forcing the play.
Well, that was quite a press conference yesterday for Patrick Roy. Now having words with Paul Dvorsky, or vice versa. But he said, I want to see how ready Detroit is to play. Apparently, the Red Wings are ready. Avalanche up with it from the faceoff. Foote Twisting away from McCarty. Mike Ricci at center with Keane. And it's played into the Detroit zone. Out come the Red Wings. Yzerman flips it in. Popped over the stick of Waugh. McCarty and Sandstrom along the boards. There's Yzerman, unable to corral it. Putting Yzerman along the boards and now sent back in behind the Colorado goal. Sandis Ozolinsh hasn't been as dangerous offensively in this series so far at the line. The pass is offside. So 1-0 Detroit on the power play goal early by Igor Larionov.
Sandis Ozolinsh didn't play much in Game 3 after the second period. The Avs are out of sync. Here's Ozolinsh. Everybody expects him to shoot it in quickly. Instead, he waits, and everybody's offside. They got 3 guys offside because Ozolinsh hesitated at the red line before he shot it in. The Avalanche have to get it going here. They were worried about how they would start, and they have started very slowly here in Game 4.
And now here's Shanahan over the line. His shot ricocheted over to Lapointe. Larionov scores!
Detroit is doing such a great job standing up, and the Avs aren't. Now here's Brendan Shanahan. Look at how deep the defense are. Shanahan's shot goes right to Lapointe. They can't clear Igor Larionov with the puck standing on end. The Dave Keon backhand, here it is. Patrick Waugh thought Lapointe was going to shoot it. He was out of position. He couldn't scramble back to his feet quickly enough. And Larionov, because the puck was standing on end, was able to jerk it up into the corner.
Detroit's smallest forward has a pair of first period goals, and the hole is even deeper now for the Avalanche. Shanahan and Lapointe get the assists. Lapointe with a pair of assists in this first period.
And Colorado's calling a timeout. And this is a good timeout by Mark Crawford. He really has to get these guys and say, okay, come on, let's play with our heads here. Play with our hearts, but we can play with our heads at the same time. Detroit gets a lucky bounce on the original shot by Shanahan. Shanahan's shot goes over to Lapointe, and Colorado can't clear it. Patrick Waugh's already committed, and there's Larionov with the rolling puck, goes by Peter Forsberg, lets it go, and in it goes. And there's Sergei Fedorov congratulating his older compatriot.
You know, John, for all the talk about what Colorado was going to do tonight, it's astounding that at 7:15 of the first period, Mark Crawford's team is without a shot on goal and is down by 2.
Well, they've taken 2 penalties, and that's naturally going to slow you down, but they killed the second one. And you would think that would have given them a lift. Well, it hasn't. They haven't done anything since they killed that penalty.
Now here's Sakic picking off a pass and a quick shot on Vernon. Here's Sakic again swiping at it, blocked in front. First pressure now by the Avalanche. The initial shot coming about 7.5 minutes into this opening period. As Deadmars now takes a shot, Vernon down. I'm not sure he saw it. Kept it out. And the Avalanche, after the timeout, seem to have a little more jump. And an icing call against Detroit.
Joey Sakic, the leader on that shift for Colorado, and he was a leader in Game 3. He played very well, but the other Avalanche leaders, Claude Lemieux, Peter Forsberg, did not play very well. And the Avalanche had a little confrontation among themselves at the team bus after Game 3, and Patrick Waugh was visibly upset about how his team had played in Game 3 and how some individuals had played, and Joe Sakic had to step in and be the peacemaker. And this is a very high-talented team, great expectations, and you're going to have those kind of situations.
Mike Keane was involved in that meeting, Claude Lemieux. A curbside discussion following Game 3. Here's Forsberg from the faceoff. His pass across onto the stick of McCarty. Back into the Colorado zone. Here's a pass, side of the net. Yzerman centered it. Knocked to the line. Kept in by Lidstrom. Now Forsberg's on it. Just dumped it to the Detroit line. Sandstrom ahead to Yzerman. Flipping it back. Sandstrom working in. And that one off his stick. And Sandstrom knocked into the net. And play is called. 8:20 into the opening period of Game 4 with Detroit holding on to a 2-0 lead.
All over Colorado. Thomas Sandstrom tries to cut around John Clem. Sandis Ozolinsh comes back to help, and Sandstrom naturally bumps Patrick Roy. Ozolinsh knocks him down. Colorado very fortunate to be in this series. Lost Game 1, or won Game 1, when in fact they should have lost Game 1. Patrick Roy was very good in that one. The Red Wings solved Patrick Roy late in Game 2, 3 goals in the third period to win that one. Game 3, Colorado played better, but came out of the gate very slow in that one. Could have won it, but did not play well. Their stars didn't play well and lost that one 2-1. And it's been all Detroit. Shots on goal now 8-1 here at the 8:20 mark of the first period.
This was the position the Avalanche were in a year ago in the conference championship, down 2-1 to Chicago on the road. And came up with a double overtime victory to even the series, and that was a pivotal game in their run to the cup. Trying to draw on that here in Game 4, but off to a sluggish start against Detroit tonight. Here's John Clem firing it around. Mike Keane goes after it. Joe Kocur there for the Red Wings. And again, it slides down the ice, and Clem back to get the icing call.
Well, since the timeout, Detroit has had to ice the puck twice. And Colorado has finally got the puck in deep. That time Mike Vernon had to handle it. John Clem had the chance from the point. But that was a very good timeout called by Mark Crawford. His team was doing nothing. Slow things down, slow Detroit down a little bit, and give his team time to regroup.
Mark Crawford's team was awakened prior to game number 3 here by a false alarm at the hotel, but nothing false about the alarms now that are going off at Joe Louis Arena for the defending Stanley Cup champions. Pass ahead for Lapointe, too far. Lefebvre back to get it. Got rid of it at center. Here's Fedosov over the line. +6 to lead the Red Wings in the playoffs, the 39-year-old defenseman. Aaron Miller up for Sakic and Young. Now Lefebvre. He'll dump it in, and Ricci gives chase. Vernon out of the net. In the corner, Shanahan knocked down by Sakic. Larionov gets it past Miller, and out comes Lapointe. He'll send it in, and that line for the Red Wings heads to the bench. Scott Young over to Miller, and that one through the open door at the Colorado bench.
Colorado still has the top scorers in this year's playoffs, but not in this series. Only 9 points for the Fab Five of Colorado here in this series. No goals from Peter Forsberg. No goals from Claude, well, 1 goal from Claude Lemieux, but Valerie Kamensky doesn't have a goal. Sandis Ozolinsh has really struggled, and I think we should almost add Doug Brownov to that, because Doug Brown has played very well in the Fab Five. Maybe Brownov instead of Brendan Shanahan, because he hasn't hit his stride in this series. He has not played that well, but they haven't needed him.
Here's Nicholas Lidstrom firing it around. Ozolinsh didn't get past Brown, and now Lemieux. Forsberg will try to wind up. He's checked by Brown. Comes to the line. Kozlov batted it down. And now this line for Detroit, bottling up the Avalanche. Adam Foote straight up the ice. He'll flip it in. Here's Vernon out to play it off the glass. Bouncing down for Ozolinsh up against Fedorov. Ozolinsh gets help from Forsberg. Checked off his stick by Murphy. And now Brown back. He's tied up as Forsberg came back defensively. Now Adam Foote. Couldn't get it out. It does go by Lidstrom. And now Konstantinov to Yzerman. 9 minutes, 15 seconds to go. First period, Sandstrom a shot on Waugh. Sarov was hit hard in behind the net. Here's Sandstrom trying to center it, and he put it by everybody down the ice. And Fetisov will have to go back to get it. Past the 11-minute mark of the opening period, still just one shot on goal for Colorado. Lefebvre backhanding it. Fetisov gave it away. Puck loose in front, and Sandstrom rolls it out of danger.
There, Colorado, another chance to shoot the puck, and instead tried to make the pretty play. They should, right now, just try and fire everything they can at Mike Vernon. Or anything they can at Mike Vernon.
Aaron Ward's on the ice, gives it to Maltby off the boards. Lefebvre picked it off for Colorado, and that's over 2 lines to Stefan Yell. And offside called against the Avalanche. Igor Larionov has a pair. It's 2-0 Detroit.
Town halls on the issues, documentaries, and campaign specials on The National.
Election stories you won't find anywhere else.
Thomas Sandstrom with a shot, and it's a tough save for Patrick Waugh because Gusarov hits this. How many times have we seen this during the 97 playoffs where the defenseman gets his stick out? Patrick Waugh has to make the save. Oh, good solid hit by Darren McCarty. Patrick Waugh, the follow through of the shot, that's not a penalty this year. That's a referee's discretion, and Patrick, just the follow through on the shot hit Kocur. No call from Paul Dvorsky.
Joe Sakic's out with Adam Deadmarsh and Rene Corbet for the Avalanche. Larionov, Shanahan, and Lapointe for Detroit. 8 minutes, 8 seconds to go. Opening period. Sakic up to Ozolinsh, stopped right there by Lapointe. And the Avalanche captain back to get it. John Clem playing defense in this game. Started the series up at forward. Saw much more action on the blue line in game 3, and here he is started back there in game 4.
Well, John Clem gives the Avalanche a little more speed, a little more physical presence back on the blue line, and I think the fact that he's played much longer than Eric Messier is another reason that John Clem's in. They're in the conference final, and Clem might be able to handle the pressure a little more easily than Eric Messier, although Messier has played pretty well when he has played.
What we haven't seen, though, John, talking about Colorado's defense, we haven't seen the Avalanche really challenging Detroit's defense. Here's Ward shooting. Oh, and that's off the post. Maltby redirecting it. The Red Wings have been getting a lot of bounces, and that one just off the post was a break for Colorado. Gusarov back in his own zone. He'll leave it for Forsberg. Hands it off to Foote. Up ahead for Keane. Played into the Detroit zone. Kamensky going after it. And back to get it is McCarty. He'll flip it out to center. Now Foote over to Gusarov. Up for Keane and Forsberg. Up flipped in. Kamensky giving chase. Keane along the boards. There's Kamensky in the corner against Konstantinov. And Forsberg stepping into Konstantinov. Penalty coming up. And it's going to be Forsberg for elbowing. Another Detroit power play.
Detroit got Colorado back in game 3 by taking 3 straight penalties. Well, this is 3 straight against Colorado here in the first period. And Peter Forsberg, we talked about this, Chris, in the opening. And there's Forsberg jumping off his feet again. And the referees have warned the teams, if you leave your feet, you're going to get a penalty. It'll be charging, it'll be high sticking. This time it's elbowing. You cannot jump at the player as you make contact. And there was Peter Forsberg jumping at Vlad Konstantinov. Colorado's power play has been very good, but their penalty killing has been excellent. But Detroit has had streaks. They had 2 goals, 2 power play goals in game 2. They have 1 already here in game 4.
You see Forsberg running at Konstantinov, and Konstantinov has been a thorn in his side throughout this series. Mark Crawford said that Konstantinov could be called every shift for a penalty. He was trying to get the officials watching 16 more. Instead, it's his own man in the box. Pass back to the point, slides all the way down the ice, and the first 30 seconds of the Forsberg minor has expired. Here's Fedorov. Over to Kozlov. Working against Lefebvre. Kozlov off the side of the net, in behind Lapointe. Sets it up for Larionov. Kozlov fakes the shot. Fedorov. Back to Kozlov. Whips it right on. Rebound knocked wide. Back out to Kozlov. 4 power play goals in the playoffs. Lefebvre in the corner. Hounded by Lapointe. Now it comes to Larionov. 2 goals already. Larionov trying to set it up. Kozlov. Watched by Yell. Now across. Lidstrom fires it. That goes wide of the net. Keane on it with a chance to get it out. And he'll send it down the ice.
Again, good work by the Detroit power play, waiting, good passes, and waiting for the good opportunity to score, and that was Nicholas Lidstrom.
5:20 remaining, first period. Detroit with the man advantage, trying to add to a 2-0 lead. It comes in front, and Lefebvre was there up to Deadmarsh, breaking his Sakic. That pass just missed the streaking captain. Larry Murphy now. Up to Sandstrom, dying seconds of this power play. Yzerman takes a look, hands it off to Murphy. Backhand in front, that doesn't get through. And now Forsberg back on the ice. And Forsberg up with the puck. Out there now with Sakic. Long shoot in by Forsberg off target. Now Shanahan. Drops it off for Sandstrom. High off the glass. Draper goes after it. Kicked it in behind the net. Tries to come up with it against Forsberg. Can't do it. And back comes Ozolin. He takes a hit from Maltby. Now Clem backhands it in. Vernon out. Lemieux directed the weak shot. Vernon got back quickly. 4:14 left first period. Here's Maltby on the move. And that shot handled by Waugh. Giveaway. Larionov there. Couldn't control it. And now Lemieux to Ozolin. Rink wide, it goes to Kamensky. Sakic moving up. Kamensky's shot deflecting wide. Sakic there to center it. Benazov. Backhanding it out of trouble with Ozolin moving down. And 3:50 to go. Here in the first period at Joe Louis Arena.
You didn't.
John Clem battling Martin Lapointe in the slot on the Detroit power play, and he's tough to handle. He's so strong. Lapointe gets a position on Clem, and Clem never can get it back. He gives him a shot from behind, gives him a shot again, and still Lapointe has position on Clem between the puck and the goaltender. And Clem, no matter how hard he battled, could not get back in front of Lapointe.
Face-off win for the Avalanche. A shot by Messier doesn't get through. Shanahan gets it out to center. 3:40 remaining, first period. The shots on goal, 13-2 in favor of Detroit. And they lead by 2. Here's the youngster Messier. Sends it in wide of the goal. Rene Corbet first to get to it. Weak shot on the short side, handled easily by Vernon. And now Sakic left it in the corner. Corbet goes after it. Lacroix went down. Corbet along the boards. To Sakic, checked by Larionov. And now Larry Murphy tries it the other way and gets it out. Aaron Miller turning. Gives it to Lefebvre, takes it back again. Pass goes beyond Young. Up for Fedorov. And went past Fedorov, and this is icing against Detroit.
End of the first period. Don Cherry, as per usual, in the coach's corner, and I'm sure he will be able to react to this first period. Not what we expected up here in the booth, and I'm sure not what he expected. And from the files, May 24th, 1988, the old Boston Garden, a fogout. Would you call that a fogout? You're the football guy. Was that a fogout in 1988, or
the fogout or the blackout?
The darkout, the blackout. And now we have Colorado discussing things with Paul Dvorsky. And
There's a penalty on the board.
Too many men on the ice penalty for Colorado on that icing call, and boy, oh boy, that's one that'll be tough for Mark Crawford to take.
Colorado penalty. Too many men
On the ice on an icing call, and the linesman, I don't buy this one. There's no way the linesman should make this call. It didn't matter if Colorado would have had 2 guys on the ice instead of 5. They would have got to that puck first. Here, Detroit goes to ice it. There's 1, 2, 3. And there's 3 more. There's 6. Now, he's close enough to the bench. This isn't going to matter. That's an icing call, and boy, oh boy, I can understand why Mark Crawford is upset about that one.
4th time in the first period, the Red Wings will enjoy a man advantage.
And Colorado goes over and argues with Paul Dvorsky, but it's not Dvorsky making the call. That's the linesman making the call.
Well, it was 3 straight against Detroit in the first period of Game 3. 4 straight against the Avalanche in the first of Game 4.
And now they're looking, they've got the door open. Colorado has to put somebody in the penalty box, and Paul Dvorsky naturally is not going to give an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after that one.
Valerie Kaminsky, number 17.
So Kaminsky will serve the too many men penalty. Another power play goal here could be fatal for the defending Stanley Cup champion. Patrick Roy lost it at the side of the net. Gold Brown almost had an open corner. Now Kozlov back to Murphy. Lidstrom, his shot knocked down, but he stops Keane from going after it. And now plays it back to Murphy. 2:10 remaining in the opening period. As the Red Wings enjoy their 4th power play, trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Kozlov. He gave it away, and the Avalanche send Detroit back. Konstantinov watched by Forsberg.
Crowd hollering that Mike Vernon should have had a shot credited on goal because that's all the Avalanche are getting.
Here's Sakic turning. Avalanche without a short-handed goal in the playoffs. Now Konstantinov, he missed the pass at the line, driven in by Fedosov. On the far side, Shanahan plays it in behind the net, crashing in there Sandstrom, but Forsberg up with it, and he flips it down the ice. 33 seconds remaining in the Detroit power play. And the fans trying to urge the Red Wings to play with a little more intensity on this power play. Here's a chance, stopped by Waugh, as Yzerman got a shot. Sandstrom behind the net, looks for Yzerman again. Final minute, first period. Here's Yzerman, trying to feed it into the high slot for Shanahan. Knocked down at the line. Konstantinov chops it back in there. Yzerman knocked down by Foot, and the Avalanche get it out. So Colorado kills the penalty. It remains 2-0 here in the final minute. Maltby knocked off the puck. Played in by McCarty. John Clem now sets up behind the net. Here comes Sakic. Joe Sakic over the line, trying to work in against Murphy. He's upended. Now Kaminsky goes after it in the near corner. Detroit clears it out. And time's going to run out here in this opening period. Red Wings enjoyed their first period lead. Wait, we got a penalty coming up. With 4.8 seconds to go, it's another penalty against the Avalanche. 5th of the period.
Claude Lemieux gets a high sticking penalty on Darren McCarty, and McCarty was very disciplined not to go back at Lemieux. Now, Claude Lemieux has to get himself involved. He has not played very well. He's trying to draw a penalty. Here he whacks at McCarty and takes the high sticking penalty. And he kept going at McCarty all the way down the ice, trying to get McCarty to get back at him, and McCarty just wouldn't go.
They had words after the game. in Game 3, and he's having words in the penalty box as well.
And here's Lemieux again. Gives McCarty the shot, and McCarty just pushes him off, and that's a good play by McCarty. The arm was already up in the air, and don't give the referee an opportunity to even it up.
So 4.8 seconds to go.
And we might have another penalty here if Paul Dvorsky is waving at the Colorado players. And I think it might be Patrick Roy who's getting a misconduct penalty.
Colorado penalty, number 33.
It is Patrick Roy.
A 10-minute misconduct.
And Patrick Roy still smiling at Paul Dvorsky, and Patrick Roy will get a 10-minute misconduct. It doesn't mean a whole lot, except that Mark Crawford's bench gets a little shorter. And Mike Ricci comes over to sit out Patrick Roy's 10-minute misconduct.
Well, they have not looked like the defending Stanley Cup champions in the first period of a critical game.
Now, it has to be somebody who was on the ice. That's the only problem that the Avalanche are going to have. So Ricci heads back. At least now Mark Crawford gets a personal audience with Paul Dvorsky.
Well, he didn't like the too many men penalty. I'm not sure he was crazy about the Lemieux penalty.
Well, the too many men penalty, that was ridiculous. And then the Lemieux penalty. Paul Dvorsky, who has that reputation, he lets things go, is calling it very tightly. And Chris, do you feel this is a reaction that they've gotten to Paul Dvorsky after that Philly Ranger game and said, okay, you better clamp down?
Well, it's clamped down one way, and
well,
Detroit's been initiating, not reacting to anything.
You've got a power play all the time. You're not going to take penalties.
Well, this will do it for period number 1, and we expected it might be the best for the Avalanche in the series. It turned out to be the worst. The shots on goal, 14-2 in favor of Detroit. Igor Larion off a pair, 2-0 Red Wings after 1.